A review of the 1979 movie Love at First Bite. Love at First Bite is a comedy film from 1979 that mixes romance, horror, and humor. Directed by Stan Dragotti and written by Robert Kaufman, it offers a light-hearted version of the Dracula story. Instead of being scary, this Count Dracula is charming, funny, and completely out of place in modern-day America. Starring George Hamilton in the lead role, the film invites viewers to see the famous vampire in a whole new way. The story begins in Transylvania, where Dracula is being forced to leave his castle. The communist government wants to turn it into a training center for gymnasts. With no other choice, Dracula decides to move to New York City. He hopes to find his true love, who has been reborn as a fashion model named Cindy Sondheim, played by Susan St. James. However, life in America is not as easy as he expected. He has to deal with fast food, busy streets, and Cindy's jealous boyfriend, who happens to be a descendant of Dracula's old enemy, Van Helsing. George Hamilton's performance as Dracula is one of the film's greatest strengths. He plays the character with style and confidence, giving the vampire an elegant old-fashioned charm. Unlike traditional horror films, this Dracula is not frightening. He's polite, well-dressed, and always looking for love, not just blood. His thick accent and romantic manners add to the humor, especially when he tries to understand American culture. The film's comedy comes mostly from this cultural clash. Dracula is confused by everyday things like taxis, phones, and disco clubs. One of the most memorable scenes shows him dancing at a nightclub with Cindy, surrounded by flashing lights and loud music. The use of the popular disco song, "I Love the Nightlife," makes the moment even funnier. These scenes highlight the differences between Dracula's world and the fast-paced life of New York in the 1970s. Cindy Sondheim, played by Susan St. James, is a strong and independent character. She is modern, stylish, and not easily impressed. Her relationship with Dracula is both romantic and comedic, as she tries to decide between him and her current boyfriend, Dr. Jeffrey Rosenberg, played by Richard Benjamin. Rosenberg adds more comedy to the film. He is nervous, jealous, and always trying to prove that Dracula is dangerous, even though no one takes him seriously. While the film is entertaining, it also shows its age. Some jokes rely on stereotypes that may seem outdated today. The style, music, and references are all from the 1970s, which might feel strange to modern viewers. However, if you enjoy retro fashion, disco music, and classic comedy, you will likely find it amusing. Visually, the film offers a modest but effective aesthetic. The contrast between Dracula's gothic attire and the gaudy excess of New York's disco scene is used to strong comedic effect. The cinematography isn't especially stylish, but it supports the story well, and the limited special effects are enough for the film's light-hearted tone. Love at First Bite was a box office success when it was released and remains popular with fans of classic comedy. It may not be as well known as other horror parodies like Young Frankenstein, but it has its own charm. The idea of a vampire trying to live in New York City is funny enough, but George Hamilton's performance makes it even more enjoyable. Love at First Bite is a playful and humorous take on the Dracula story. It's more of a romantic comedy than a horror film, and it uses the contrast between old traditions and modern life to make the audience laugh. While some parts feel dated, the film still has plenty of charm. If you're looking for a funny and unusual vampire film and you like disco, this is a great choice. And you can find it on Amazon Prime.